Hi everybody, welcome back to my channel, Made with Love. My name is Heather. I just want to say Merry Christmas Eve to everybody. So today I am going to be making a candied pecan upside down pie. It sounds really fancy, it sounds complicated. I'm not doing my pie filling from scratch. I'm not making my pie crust from scratch this year. I'm just doing pre-bought everything, so it's going to be quick and easy. So I'm starting with my pie crust. I got these Pillsbury pie crusts. Got them half price. So it was like, I don't know, I think they're about $3.50, $4, and then half price. So I got a couple of these boxes. And then I'm making apple pie, so I just have 2 cans of apple pie filling. And then my spices. So I'm using nutmeg, allspice, cloves, and cinnamon. And then you also need for the topping, because it's the pecan. So I've got a bag of pecan pieces, so it's 100 grams. I'm also using 1/3 cup of melted butter and 1/2 cup of brown sugar. So I'm just gonna move this down. The first thing, like I said, I'm going to make it very simple. I'm just gonna put everything into one pan. So it's like a one dish kind of a thing. So I've got 1/3 cup of butter melted and 1/2 cup of brown sugar. Might have to get a larger bowl for this. And then I just realized my whisk is actually still in the kitchen sink. Just give me 1 second. I made the eggnog last night, so I just forgot to bring the whisk and put it away. Okay, here we go. So I'm just mixing in the brown sugar and the melted butter. Now I'm going to add in my pecan pieces, which I thought some of the pieces were just a little bit too big, so I was just breaking them up with my fingers. You could always use a rolling pin or a mallet or something, but I think it's pretty easy to break them in the package like this. Now this is where I think I should have grabbed a larger bowl, but maybe I'll just pour the pecans directly into the pie plate. I'm just gonna, a couple of these pieces are still just a little bit too big. Just gonna break them into like a little bit smaller pieces here. Okay, and then just pour the brown sugar and butter over top. Good stir. So you kind of get this caramelized pecan. Oops. I've seen some people will do this and they will actually make the pecans part separate, and they'll actually do like on the stove and with all this stuff, but I like to make easy recipes. I don't think there's any point of cooking the pecans before you bake, especially with this type of a recipe. So you kind of get that candied pecan without really too much work, because it's going to be in the oven for I think about 40 minutes or so, so that they're going to get toasted. And I always, with this rolled out dough, I always like to, it's sitting at room temperature for a little while. It might still be just a little too cold, but that's okay. I just got to get this done. But I always find it kind of helps to partially roll this out, or roll this out before I try to put it in here, because I always find I have trouble finding the halfway point. I just put this in, but you want to press it down right into the pecan mixture. See, I prefer making my own pie crust, but you know, these pre-made pie crusts are a nice option, except the graham ones. I love the store-bought graham pie crust from the dollar store. Okay, so it's pressed in. pour in the 2 cans of the apple pie filling, which I usually make my own apple pie filling because I've got all my apples off my tree, but I just decided, you know, I'm trying to make it a little easier on myself right now, so just using, you know, store-bought things, which I say it's okay once in a while to make recipes using the store-bought options. See, so if I was actually making this, I'd probably have like way more apples than what I'm getting out of this can. To be honest, the amount of apples that are in this can are definitely not worth the $5 a can. And there we go. My oven is preheated to 375. I knew it would be ready in a few minutes. I was always adding your own spices, even when I use the canned pie filling. I love adding my own spices just because I find sometimes they don't have any spices or not enough. But you always add the you always add the spices to your liking and your taste. It's always hard to know what some people prefer, how much spices they like. Now I'm just gonna sprinkle on, so I've got cloves. And then after I sprinkle the spices, I will give it another good stir. So there's some cloves, nutmeg, allspice, which I always find it funny that I buy allspice, and allspice is a mixture of all the spices I sprinkle on here anyways. And cinnamon. I'm almost out of cinnamon. It's definitely something I'm gonna have to go purchase. So I'm surprised that I had none left in my pantry. So I'm just gonna give this a good another stir here just to mix without touching the pie crust. So you don't wanna put holes in the pie crust. But if that happens, it happens. I do it lots when I'm doing this stuff. I find even when doing this, I will, if I have rings on, or if my nails are just a little bit longer when I'm making my pie crust, like rolling them out, I will put a few little tears or holes in the pie crust. So it doesn't affect the taste of the pie, it just kind of makes the pie, the liquid part kind of come out. You don't really want that, but it happens. It's not the end of the world if that happens either. It's just part of baking. Usually have a towel beside me. I'm gonna do what I usually don't do. I'm gonna wipe this off on my, I can get the second pie crust rolled out and on top. Just the apple pie filling was just really sticky. Okay. Just kind of fold this in the middle and then over top. And now I want to pinch these together. I don't know, something's wrong here. This pie crust just starting to pull and break apart on me right here. I don't know what I did. I think I just pulled a little too tight. Oh, see, I just pulled, and I got a little tear there. I got a tear there. I'm just trying to get this done, and sometimes when you're trying to do things, you go a little too fast, or you're just not as careful as you should be. You just kind of pull. And then I'm just going to make a couple slits in here. Now I said this will end up being the bottom of the pie crust. I'm just going to grab my little paring knife, and I'm just going to make a couple little slits here so the steam can escape while it's baking. Like that. So now I'm just going to put this in the oven for, I think it was 35, or it could have been 45 minutes, I forget. I will put this in the oven and I'll be back when I pull it out, and I'll let you know how long it took. All right, so there is the pie. So it took 50 minutes to bake. So it said between 40 and 50 minutes. It's been in almost 50 minutes. So there it is. I'm just gonna lift it out of the oven and do the next step. All right, so now comes the next tricky part, which is flipping this over onto a plate. I have this, I think it's just gonna be big enough. All my serving platters and everything are packed. So this is actually just an insert from an old microwave that we threw out a couple of years ago. If this wasn't big enough, I wasn't quite sure. I have this serving platter here. Let's see. No, I think I'm gonna use this one. This is just, I don't know if this is gonna fit because the edge of the pie touches the edge of the plate. So I didn't really want to use this one, but I think this is all I have at the moment. I'm just gonna slide this. Because I don't need gloves to do that, or the oven mitts to do that. I'm just gonna move this closer to the edge just so I'm not so far away. I'm trying to flip this over. Let's see. There. Now I just gotta get under here and flip this over. 1, 2, 3, up and down. There we go. I'm burning my fingers. Just be able to lift this right off. The pie is supposed to slide out. I am one of those people who I've always had trouble trying to get things to come out. I'm just going to grab the other oven mitt and a little fork. Okay, I'm just using a fork and I'm just lifting the pan, the pie plate up just a little bit, and it's starting to come. Oh, there we go. It's just really hot. So I'm just trying to figure the best way to do this. Go, I got this side. There we go. A little bit of the pie crust got stuck inside here. That's okay, it does happen. So I'm just gonna stick it back on here. And just let this cool. So it took almost 50 minutes to bake. And I did say that some of the pecans will get stuck in here, and all you do is just, scrape them out and put them on top. So there we go. This is a candied pecan upside down pie, and I would love to slice into it and let you see how it looks, except this will be for Christmas dinner tomorrow. So I can't slice it, but you have to let it cool for at least an hour before you serve, just because of how hot this, the pecans are. I am burning my fingers just trying to get the pecans out of here. There we go. Really easy recipe to make, and it looks so impressive. Just like really, like wow your family and friends, and they'll think you spent a long time. I mean, it takes an hour for it to bake, so I mean you do need and then an hour to cool, so you will need like about 2.5 to 3 hours of baking time, but from finished, from start to finish. But look at how impressive that looks. And in case I forgot to mention, I think I did, my pie plan is 9 inches. So I think I forgot to mention the pie crusts are 8 inches. My pie pan is 9. So again, it's very simple. It's just the pecans, brown sugar, and melted butter. It makes the top. The 2 pie crusts, you either make your pie crust or just buy the store-buy ones like I did. And your pie filling of your choice, I'm using apple. I don't know, I'd be curious to try the pecan, or change out the pecans to a different kind of nut, and try it for the fall for a pumpkin pie, which I will try in the fall. I'd love to try that. So I guess your possibilities for this pie are endless, just changing out what kind of fruit you want to add, what kind of nuts you want to add on top. And except very easy, but it looks so impressive. It makes people think that you spend hours and hours of baking and cooking, which are the recipes I love to make. Again, I just want to say Merry Christmas to everybody, and thank you so much for watching my videos and subscribing to my channels, and I'll see you in the next ones. Bye.